In this module, we will learn the inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs of the develop schedule process. The develop schedule process plans the start and finish dates for all project activities using the outputs from the other project schedule management planning processes. This is an iterative process that will evolve as work progresses. This process utilizes the outputs from several planning processes to help determine when each schedule activity should occur. It is important to understand the purpose of the project schedule and how it differs from the network diagram, scope statement, or schedule management plan. The PMBOK guide defines 6 key inputs to the develop schedule process. The schedule management plan describes how this process will be performed. This may include the tools and techniques to be used and the frequency of iteration. The scope statement provides a narrative description of the work that will be performed in each of the schedule activities. Because there are so many inputs to the process, it is easy to group several of them into one common category: outputs from other schedule planning processes. This includes the activity list, activity attributes, network diagrams, activity resource requirements, resource breakdown structure, and activity duration estimates. In this process, we will combine elements of each of these project documents to develop the project schedule. Project team assignments and resource calendars represent the individuals that have been assigned to schedule activities and their calendar of availability. This information will be determined as a result of the acquire resources and conduct procurements processes. While these individuals may not be known when the schedule is first created, the develop schedule process can be revisited once the team has been acquired. The risk register may contain risks regarding the amount of time it will take to complete an activity. Therefore, develop schedule should be revisited alongside the risk planning processes. Enterprise environmental factors can be a major input to defining the project schedule, including government standards, stakeholder culture, and the organization's existing infrastructure and tools. Finally, organizational process assets may contribute a schedule template, lessons learned, or provide organizational policies and guidelines that can be used to shape the project schedule. While templates can provide a great starting off point for the development of a project schedule, it is important that a lot of adjustment is made to help tailor the schedule to the uniqueness of the project. There are many tools and techniques for the develop schedule process. We will briefly look at each over the next 2 slides. Schedule network analysis is a technique that describes the combination of the other tools and techniques in the schedule development process to generate a schedule model. Critical path method, or CPM, is a technique that evaluates schedule start and finish information and the logical dependencies to determine the longest path of required schedule activities. Because the project cannot complete any faster than this path, it helps determine the shortest possible schedule. We will explore the procedure for performing critical path method in a separate module. Resource optimization is used to adjust the schedule based on resource management. Resource leveling is the rescheduling of activities to resolve the over-allocation of a shared resource or other scenario of resource limitation. This commonly delays the project completion. Resource smoothing is the rescheduling of resource assignments to provide a more balanced allocation without changing start dates for critical activities. Data analysis is used to provide a dynamic representation of the schedule based on known constraints and variable information. What-if scenario analysis is a technique used to predict schedule outcomes based on a change made to the project. Simulation uses multiple estimated data points and the schedule model to help determine the likely project outcome and a distribution of probability for alternative outcomes. One popular simulation technique is known as Monte Carlo analysis. Schedule compression is a technique to shorten the project schedule duration without changing the scope of the project. Crashing, a type of schedule compression, is the technique of increasing cost, usually by adding resources to reduce the schedule. Another type of schedule compression is fast tracking, the application of overlap to normally sequential activities. Fast tracking will typically increase risk. Leads and lags is the documentation of required space or overlap built into the dependencies of the project activities. The project management information system helps to automate the generation of a schedule model based on information such as durations and dependencies. Scheduling tools are typically computer-based software applications. Agile release planning provides a high-level summary of the features that may be delivered for each iteration of a project using an agile lifecycle. This technique can help to reconcile a product roadmap with the timing of when the project will deliver value. There are 4 key outputs of the develop schedule process. The schedule baseline is a formal, approved version of the schedule model that will be used by the project management team. The schedule baseline will provide the basis for schedule performance measurement. Further, once the schedule has been baselined, it cannot be changed without going through formal change control procedures. The project schedule is an instance of the schedule model that includes at a minimum a list of schedule activities and their scheduled start and finish dates. Additional information may include dependencies, resource assignments, costs, and more. As the schedule model changes, each instance of the project schedule will be unique. These are often represented graphically via a network diagram, a milestone list, or a bar chart, also known as a Gantt chart. Scheduled data includes data that supports the project schedule, such as milestones, activity attributes, assumptions, constraints, or buffer information. Project calendars identify the availability of when project work may or may not be scheduled. This provides the most basic set of rules for when activities may be scheduled. However, resource calendars may impose additional rules. Finally, many processes may lead to updates to the project management plan and/or project documents. Since the project management plan and other project documents are not subject to the same levels of approval that the baselines are, these updates will not require formal change control. However, to ensure best practices of proper versioning, access control, and notification, it is important that the configuration management plan is followed. The develop schedule process plans the start and finish dates for all project activities using the outputs from the other project schedule management planning processes. This is an iterative process that will evolve as work progresses. This process utilizes the outputs from several planning processes to help determine when each schedule activity should occur. It is important to understand the purpose of the project schedule and how it differs from the network diagram, scope statement, or schedule management plan.